Hi there, Claudia Gray, and this is my very first attempt at a video blog, so let's see how I do. I decided to begin by answering questions that people had sent in to me via my online blog, and the first one comes from Ashley G, who says, I'm an aspiring writer and I have all these great ideas, but I have trouble sticking with one start to finish. How do you stay focused on one project at a time? Okay, this is a universal problem, I think, because if you're a writer, if you're a creative person, you have so many ideas. You have more than you will ever possibly be able to see to completion. And you have to sort out which ones are the best, which ones excite and energize you the most, and work with those and not let yourself get distracted too much by the shiny over there. That said, no matter how much you love your very, very best idea, there are going to be times when it isn't fun. And I say that as somebody who really loves to write and enjoys it more than anything in the world. And it doesn't matter. Sometimes it feels like hauling rocks. I remember one time I was out to dinner with a few friends who were writers, and I asked one of them, how's your book going? And he said, oh, I'm at the point where I hate it and it's eating my soul and it's the worst book ever written. And everybody at the table just nodded. We were like, yeah, I know that part. Because every book goes through that. Every writer hits that moment where you think you can't look at this story 1 second more, even if you love it more than anything in the world. That's one reason why I've always sort of likened it, the difference between having an idea for a book and writing a book. I think it's sort of like the difference between being infatuated and being married. When you have that idea for the book, everything is beautiful and wonderful and you love it and everything's going to be perfect. And then you get into the real day-to-day work of it, and it's not always romantic. It's not always easy. Marriages go through long periods of time where the two people have to really work to stay together. And you as a writer, you and your idea, there are going to be times you're going to have to work really hard to maintain that commitment. It isn't going to be about sheer exhilaration every single time. You're going to have to accept that sometimes this is really tough. Now, all that said, that may not be the problem that you have. You may really, really love your idea, but then find yourself drawn off to things for other reasons, maybe not so much that the idea is hard. And if that's the case, then I would really tell you to look into yourself and ask why. Why are you doing that? Is there something in the book you're writing, or rather something that's not in the book that you're writing? Is there something lacking there? Is it one of these things where it's losing your interest, so it would certainly lose the reader's interest? If that's the case, then maybe you don't want to move on to the next project. You want to sit down and say, okay, why has this lost my interest? Why am I not as compelled by these characters right now? And if you focus back in on that and ask yourself specifically why you're trying to move away, you may be able to go back and address that original problem instead of moving on to the other idea. And hopefully that will help you stay on target and stay focused as you work on your manuscript. But I think it does boil down to that commitment and that work and accepting that the beautiful, bright, shiny ideas are always going to be bright and shiny. The best book every writer ever has is the next book, the book that isn't written yet, the book that you haven't run into all the problems with. And I think you have to get past dreaming about that perfect thing that doesn't ever cause any problems or any complications, and you have to work on the task at hand and love your idea enough to carry it through the really hard times, because they're inevitable, but you can make it through. I hope that helps.